I did a lot of bad things, and never did I give in, just 'cause the thought of being vulnerable made me feel less than I am.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap, where I like to do budget-friendly DIYs and home decor. Today's video I am super excited for because it is a video where I'm going to show you two techniques that I learned at Creativation. One has to do with distressing and the other has to do with stenciling. So very quickly, let's talk about distressing. There are two very common ways to get a distressed look on a project. One is sanding, and the second way is to just dry brush on some paint with whether it be brown, black, white, gray, and those techniques work great. I use them all the time. However, they leave your project looking flat. It's more 2D. It doesn't have a lot of depth and dimension to it. The technique I'm going to show you today with the distressing will give you a little bit, and I'm using the word lightly, but a little bit of depth and dimension. You'll have a little bit of a dip in your project, and so when you run your hands across it, it actually feels like it's actually chipped wood. So I'm excited to show you that. And then the second one has to do with stenciling, which we all know it's super annoying when we go to stencil onto painted wood and it bleeds. Well, this tip is not Mod Podge, it's something else, and I'm excited to share that. If you are new and like what you see, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any of my future DIYs. And if you didn't know, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram for bonus DIYs, monthly challenges, behind the scenes, bargain shopping finds. And now I'm on Twitter. You can find me at Creative on the, stop there, don't add the word cheap. All three of those links will be down below in the description box. So without any further ado, let's get into today's project and let's learn how to do these two techniques. All right, so to start this technique, you're gonna start with a bare piece of wood. Now, when Jennifer, Shannon, and I learned this technique, it was on a bare piece of wood. I have not tried it on, say, like redoing or using this technique on a Dollar Tree sign, but I will. So I just wanted to show it to you how I learned it. So what you're going to do is make sure your wood is sanded, it's smooth. I went through and sanded off the corners and just made sure there were no rough edges. You're going to take whatever dark paint you want. I'm going to be using the Waverly Elephant. So this is the paint that's going to end up showing back through. So let's say if you were going to dry brush brown on it, if you were going to do the dry brush method, then you would paint this brown. Or if you were going to dry brush gray on it, you would paint this gray. So I'm just going to go in and paint it to where it gets covered, but that it's not on there super, super thick.
I have never felt home till you entered my door, and from that moment I knew that a home is whatever you.
Okay, so now that this is painted, this is the hard part. You have to make sure it's fully dry. You do not want it to be tacky at all, wet at all. So we're just gonna let this sit and dry completely. The board is nice and completely dry. And now comes the fun part, and this is the messy part. So you just wanna take a votive candle. You can get these at Dollar Tree. And you wanna pop out the wick so that it's not in there, because that will scratch up your paint if that metal gets in there. So we're just gonna try to get it out. There we go, easy peasy. And then all you're gonna do with your votive candle is rub it all over your board. You're gonna wanna have some wipes just to wipe your hands, because this is messy, and something probably underneath your board because it'll get everywhere. But you just wanna get a nice coating all over the board. Now I'm not gonna do the back of my sign just because it's gonna be up against my post and not visible, but if you were gonna make a double-sided sign, then you probably would wanna do this, okay? So we're just coating it, all the edges, everywhere. So I'm just gonna do, and you can see the film on there. It'll get on there, and you'll just coat it nicely everywhere. So this is nice and coated with wax. I got it everywhere. Now, what you have left, and I really don't know what else to call it, but like wax boogers, because that's what they look like, okay? You just want to flick those off. You don't want any of the little chunks anywhere. And this is probably where you'll need a wipe, because as you flick them off, wipe your hands. You can also just press them down into the wood if you'd prefer that, or just use your finger and rub the little boogers. And come on, we'll just call them boogers. It's fun to say boogers. All right, I'm totally childish, but whatever. All right, yeah, you just don't want any of the little wax chunks anywhere where you're going to be chipping off paint, okay? And as you can see, it is messy, so definitely protect your work surface, okay? But yeah, kind of smush some in there, kind of flick some off.
The best thing I did, and I want you to know.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of wipe up my work surface so that I don't accidentally pick up more chunks, get a fresh piece of paper, and then we'll be ready for our next step. The wax is on the board. I made sure there's no loose little chunks anywhere. Now you're gonna go in and paint it with whatever the majority of the color that you want on top. So usually your lighter color, I mean, you could also do pink and red. I mean, it could be anything. So I'm gonna be using the Waverly Plaster. And what you wanna do is you wanna go in and again, do a full coverage, but not get it on too thick. The key on this one's gonna be, we're gonna paint it, and you're actually not going to let this coat dry all the way. You're gonna let it dry until it's tacky.
From that moment, I knew that you were all I missed. Baby, it took just one kiss. 'Cause here in your arms, I can find a...
This is coated, and so I'm gonna let it dry. I'm kind of looking for the bright sheen of it to kind of calm down a little bit, and then that's gonna be when it's ready. So I don't know, time wise it could be, depending on how thick your coat is, anywhere from maybe 3 to 8 or 9 minutes, something like that. Now while this is drying, I did want to show you this, my stencil. You guys, I just figured this thing out. I don't know why I never put 2 and 2 together. So this is a reusable stencil that I made on my Cricut with stencil paper. So it's plastic, right? And I made it on my Cricut. Like, I had no idea. I've had this stuff for forever, and I finally just realized, you know what? I really want to make a reusable stencil. And sometimes using vinyl stencils, the paint will peel off, and you know, sometimes you just have issues. I can't believe it. So I'm not going to go into details about this little technique because again, I'm focusing on the 2 things I learned at Creativation. But if you want me to do a tutorial on how I did this and what I used, etc., comment down below and let me know, and I will do that as another little technique, you know, thing that you can use. So this will be the stencil that I will be using for this, but I just wanted to show it to you guys. Seriously, it's reusable plastic stencil with my Cricut. I mean, come on, talk about easy peasy. This appears to be pretty tacky. Now, in our workshop, included in the project we did, we got 4 of these little scrapers, okay? You can get scrapers, paint scrapers, you can get the Dollar Tree pastry scraper. You could use a debit card, well, don't use your debit card. You could use a gift card, just something with an edge. Now, I found that I use this one the most when I did my project. You're gonna wanna have a little wipe or something, because as you go to chip off paint, you wanna kind of wipe this off. And then all you're gonna do with this, guys, and this is really fun, is you just go in and start chipping the paint off, right? Okay, you start hitting the edges and you are scraping, and this is how you're getting a little bit of depth here, okay? Because you have that layer of wax underneath this paint and it's going down to the gray. So that's how you're getting a little bit more of an authentic distressed look.
The rest of the world is outside when you make sure I'm all you've missed. Baby, it takes...
Like, it looks so realistic. Seriously, I can't even get over how much better this looks than just doing dry brushing.
many tears have dried out. I know that I will be with you.
Once you're happy with how the distressing looks on your board, you want to make sure this step is completely dry. This is completely dry, and now we are ready to do our stencil and learn our second technique. So again, I'm taking this stencil that I made on my Cricut with plastic stencil paper, and I'm gonna do the best I can getting it spaced out and lined up here. This is usually always the hardest part for me, is trying to get it somewhat straight to where it doesn't look like it's crazy town. So let me get it. All right, there we go. I like it like that. Then I'm just gonna take some, oh, and I moved it. I'm gonna take some painter's tape and just secure it on the sides so it doesn't wiggle around. Check it again because I moved it. So let's see here. All right. That's about an inch off each side. Height-wise, it's okay. I don't know. All right. Overthinking this, I guess. So let me secure it down like that. And again, if you want to know how I made this, comment down below and I'll do a little tutorial on how to do these type stencils. Now, all right, this is where people run into the whole it's bleeding issue, you know, it bleeds through, etc., etc. So what you're gonna wanna do is I'm gonna be using black paint. Now you could use any color that you wanted to, but my letters are gonna be black. But first what you wanna do is take whatever color you painted your sign with on top. So I used the plaster. So I'm gonna take a little bit of plaster paint, and you wanna go in and just dab it on top of your stencil all the way across. You wanna work kind of quick. You want it to dry a little bit, not too much. And then again, almost dry, a little tacky. Then you're gonna go in with whatever color you actually want the letters to be, which I'm gonna use black. First step, take a little bit. Again, you're stenciling, you can use a stencil brush or makeup brush. Normally I use the little stencil brushes, but I don't know, I just grab the makeup brushes. And you're just gonna stencil with not a lot of paint on your sponge and go over the top of the stencil, okay? Just like that, making sure to get the whole thing done. All right, so I've covered all that. Now I'm moving on to the color that I want my letters to be, which is black. And I'm gonna use my stencil brush or the makeup brush. I don't really know. I think I'm gonna go, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with the makeup brush. Or sponge, not brush. I keep calling it a brush. It's a sponge. All right, here we go. So take your sponge, hold down your stencil, and you're dabbing it on. You can go as dark as you want, as light as you want, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing about you. The best thing I did, and I want you to know.
I have stenciled this down. Now I'm gonna lift it up, and you guys saw the stencil was bouncing up and down. I was trying to hold it steady, so we'll see, but I'm telling you, no bleeding. So let's check it out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, let me get y'all zoomed in here. Nope, it's perfect. It is perfect. I'm gonna pick up the camera, give me a second. Here we go, guys, check it out. Absolutely no bleeding. And again, you guys saw how my stencil was moving up and down, right? I'm telling you, this technique is game changer. Here's the stencil This is completely dry, and since I'm taking this outside and hanging it up, I do want to seal it. Now what I'm going to be using to seal it is this, it's Amy Howard's At Home Matte Sealer. I got this at our local small town hardware store, but I do believe they sell it like, and it's an Ace hardware store, so I do believe you can find it there. I have not seen it like at Home Depot or Lowe's before, but I really like it because it goes really fast. It gives that waxy look and it just works really well. And then here I go. And I'm just using a super soft brush to brush this on. And I am, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and seal the back. I should have probably sanded all this stuff off, but I'm gonna seal the back because realistically, am I gonna go back and paint that? I don't know, probably not. So here we go, sealing back, and you can kind of see it goes on like a milky kind of layer. Then it dries pretty fast, I have to say. Now, I have used this before on a piece of furniture versus using like the clear wax to seal furniture when I've refinished it. I don't know, the verdict is still out on that. I will be talking more about that in my monthly, at the end of January, monthly favorites. So if you're wanting to know more about it, stay tuned for that video, because that'll be the last day of this month when I do my DIY supplies monthly favorites and fails.
From that moment I knew that you were all I missed. Baby, it took.
So now I'm gonna let this dry really, really good, and then my last step is gonna be to attach my eye hooks and my burlap string, my twine to the sign. The last step for our sign, once this is nice and dry, is to add some eye hooks. So I actually have a couple of these different type signs that I've made, and I thought I had more eye hooks, but I did not. So I just yanked these or unscrewed them out of one of my other signs. So up on top, I have it marked where I want the eye hooks to go, and I'm not gonna use a drill. I am just gonna use my brute strength here, get it started, and then in it goes. Like, these go in super easy. And screw it in, and of course it already has the twine attached, so that's what I'll be using to hang my sign. And I painted the little eye hooks kind of the whitish color for my other sign, so that works out. I just didn't want them to be bright silver. So then I'm going to take this one. Now this may cause problems, we'll see. I don't know, probably it will. I don't know, will the string cause a problem? Nope. Oh, no, it will not. So there you go. My string was already twisty and whatever anyway, so. And I'm super strong, look at me. I'm telling you, no need for drills. Just use your hands, folks. Okay. A little bit further in, one more. And I'm okay with this being wonky donk. It's totally fine. Now it needs to go a little further. And there you go. This cute little sign for anywhere. You could put it in a wreath, you could hang it on your front door. Actually, look at that. That kind of looks cool. Okay. Can y'all see that? It's all twisted and pretty looking. Little DIY bonus there. All right. There you go. Valentine sign. The final step, I went ahead and decided to make a little bow. So I just kind of pieced this together to put on top. And I'm just going to hot glue it, secure it, and then I'm going to, because it's going outside, I'm going to spray it with some of my Scotchgard fabric protector. That's one thing I like to do anytime I put fabric or anything outside. And then I'm just going to attach that to the top of my little post. And this will be the last little embellishment for my project. So I'm just waiting for the glue gun to heat up so I can glue this. And then it will be all finished.
And here you go. Here is how to make a really cute sign using 2 new techniques that I learned at Creativation. Don't forget to comment down below if you guys would like for me to show you how I did the reusable stencils using my Cricut. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I would love for you to stick around if you are not subscribed by hitting that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any of my future DIYs. And don't forget, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for just a little bit of extra of me. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!